Hello and welcome back to Blue Jay Acres. My name is Noelle. Thank you so much for stopping by. So today we are going to make two Easter dinners, both under $20. And both are also easy to make if you are on the go, if you're in a hotel with just a little kitchenette, because I know a lot of people go out of town for spring break. So this kind of came about because Ash is going to Cuba to see her boyfriend for spring break, so she will not be home for Easter. First Easter ever, she's not going to be home, but I know she will want an Easter dinner, and I know that they'll just have like a little kitchenette, and of course they have nothing at a hotel, so it needs to be cheap, it needs to be delicious and easy enough for them to just throw it together really quick and have a little Easter dinner. So that's where this idea came about. So let's just go and jump into it. I'm going to show you what I bought for the first meal, and then I will cook the first meal with you. And then I'll show you the second idea, and we'll cook that one up together as well and show you what I bought for that. So let's go on and get started. Here's what we got for our first meal. All right, so here is what we need for meal number one. So we're going to just start here. We got bread for $1, cake mix for $1, brown sugar for $2.34. If you have brown sugar, then you would not need to add that into this. I did get some Peeps, that's optional. I'll show you why I got those. Sorry, the Peeps were $1.47. If I didn't say it, the brown sugar was $2.34. And then I got some, let's start over here, some Kool-Aid for 36 cents, the lemonade Kool-Aid. And a pack of margarine for $1.38. 6 eggs. You are able to buy just 6 eggs at Walmart. It's $1.52. I'm just using some eggs that I already have. Then I got a lemon for 58 cents. Carrots for $1.08. Now these carrots were subbed out. I had put in my cart to get the 1 pound of the big carrots. But these will do fine for what we're using, so it did still just cost me $1.08. And then I have green beans for 98 cents. I did ham steak. There are 2 of those in that package, and that was $3.48. Then I have a can of navy beans for 82 cents. A can of extra cherry fruit cocktail for $1.48. A can of pineapple in slices for $1.28, and then a can of mushrooms here for $1.28. That total comes to $19.65. Now, if you don't need to get the brown sugar, then it would be $17.31. However, we are going to use mayonnaise, mustard, and some cinnamon. If you do not have mayonnaise, mustard, and cinnamon, I was able to find the mayonnaise for $2.12, mustard for 60 cents, and the cinnamon for $1.24. So if you needed to buy all of that, then you'd be looking at $23.61. But hopefully you would have that already, or maybe the brown sugar or something, so that you wouldn't need to buy all of it. But here's everything we need for meal one. Now let's get that made. Okay, so the first thing I want to do for the first meal plan, first thing is I'm going to boil 4 of our eggs because we have 6 total. I want to keep 2 out, but I'm going to go on and boil 4 for our deviled eggs. While our eggs are cooking, we're going to get out a pan. I'm going to set my oven to 400, and we're going to make our carrots. All right, now I picked carrots because you could get a whole bag of carrots for $1 and a little bit of change, or you could have a sweet potato for $1, and you're gonna get way more for the carrots, and you can still have that sweet, like sweet potato taste, but with the carrots. So we're gonna make some sweet carrots. So using the big carrots, which is what I actually had put in my cart, and you're most likely gonna find for $1, is I would definitely peel them first. And I know many of you already know this, but some, like my daughter, might not think about it. So make sure you peel it so it has a really just good texture. Right, and then I would cut them at an angle just to make them look prettier, so that they look like this, if you can see. It would just make them look prettier, kind of more like a potato would. And you can get quite a few from that as well. And then you just bake them up as well. Also, I did forget to mention, I am going to use salt and pepper. So if you, sorry, the camera's dropping. If you do not, like you're in a hotel or something, a lot of times you can have, they have salt and pepper. If they don't, you just have to buy a thing of salt and pepper or do without. But usually you can get salt and pepper anywhere, even if you just ask for some extra salt and pepper if you're like grabbing food when you're out and you're at McDonald's or whatever, you can usually get that kind of stuff as well. So I am going to use salt and pepper. Everything else though I did include in the cost when I showed you if you had to buy the extra stuff. So I would just dump the whole bag in. And then I'm going to do my salt. My pepper. And then I do some cinnamon. And I know you guys see me with 6 eggs here. That's because I'm doing a couple extra for the next video, so you don't see the eggs being boiled or waiting for them. So just know you would only be boiling 4 if you were following this one. Then I'm going to do a little bit of this margarine. Now, if at all possible and you can afford more than margarine, I always highly suggest to use butter. I think it just makes a huge difference in taste. But if you can't, margarine is fine, and that's what we're using. And then we're going to sprinkle on some of our brown sugar. And that's it. I'm going to pop this in the oven. Okay, while that's baking, the ham is going to be super fast, like one of the easiest things that we're going to make. So we're going to go on and make the dessert while we're doing, while we've got this other stuff in the oven too, so it can cook together. So actually I'm going to bump this heat back down to 350, because I wasn't thinking about that. And then we're going to go on and make dessert. Alright, so for dessert we are going to need our berry cherry fruit mix and our pineapple. However, we are going to take our very cherry pie mix, or fruit mix, and we're going to dump it. And this is not very cherry, I will have to say. It says on it that it's extra cherry, but it does not look extra cherry to me. A little disappointed in that. But I want to pick out all the little bits of cherry, because to buy maraschino cherries to make our ham fancy was way more expensive than to just buy a cherry fruit cocktail mix. So we can use this for multiple things. I just want to grab the cherries out so that we have them for our ham. I think that's all of them. So actually I'm just going to go on and dump that fruit right into this little thing here. Keep my cherries. Then our pineapple, we're going to keep the juice of our pineapple, and I definitely want to keep a lot of our pineapple. But I need half of it probably to go in our dessert. So I'm just going to kind of drop a little bit in here. And then I'll keep the rest for our ham. And I'm going to reserve the juice as well. Then you just take your cake mix. So this ends up being a dump cake, but it tastes like a cobbler would. You just pour the dried cake mix right on top. I picked the one with sprinkles, the funfetti, because I thought it looked springy and festive. So just kind of spread that all along here. Then you just take your margarine and you're just gonna go little dollops of it all across the top. If you need to use a little bit more, you have plenty of margarine to use a little bit more. If you have nuts, you could add nuts to this. If you have some kind of a pie filling at your house, you could add pie filling to the bottom of this as well. Or you can make like a thick syrup to go in the bottom. But we do not have that, so we are just going with this so that there's no extra steps. And we're gonna put this in the oven, just like that. All right, next we're gonna do our navy beans, and we're gonna go on and get those started. If you can't do navy beans, you could do Great Northern if you have that, or if you can't find navy beans, you can always do Great Northern. Okay, I switched to a much smaller little container because I'm just making a small amount. This is just to feed for one meal. So I just drained and rinsed the beans. So I'm gonna make it really easy, like baked bean to go with the ham and stuff. If you have stuff at home, I would maybe in a little bacon grease saute some onion and some garlic, or add garlic and onion powder to this. Just using what we have. I would also add a little ketchup to this. But again, I'm just trying to use what we have on hand. You could also add some smoked paprika, would be great in it. Bacon bits if you had that, or crumble up some fresh bacon if you have that. To be really good in this, you could also add some peppers if you wanted, some like green peppers. So it's up to you on what you have, but again, I'm doing it very basic, so you could buy very few things if you're on vacation, or if you know, don't have the money to buy it. I'm gonna go on and take my eggs off. So in case you don't know and you don't make boiled eggs, you put them in an ice bath as soon as they're done. I honestly don't know if my kids know how to do that or not, because they are not fans of boiled eggs. All right, so here I am just gonna add brown sugar. I'm gonna add a little bit of that pineapple juice. Gonna add some cinnamon. And I'm gonna add a little bit of mustard. Some salt. I'm gonna stir this up. Probably want to add just a little bit more brown sugar. And then I think this kind of thing always tastes better with some kind of fat. So I'm going to add a little bit of our margarine just so that we have some, you know, good fat in it. All right, then I'm gonna pop this in the oven. Okay, so in the deviled eggs, I'd only planned on doing 4. That's, you know, 2 deviled eggs per person. But I'm not using the other eggs for anything. So if you want to do, oh, there they go. If you want to do 6, then do all 6, or keep the other 2 eggs and just make them for breakfast, or, you know, whatever else you want to do with them. Also, again, I am making these deviled eggs very basic and simple. If you want, you could add garlic powder, onion powder, you can add bacon, chives, jalapenos, whatever it is you like to add, some cheese, whatever it is you like to add. I'm keeping it very basic because, again, just going by what I bought. So if you've not made deviled eggs, you're just gonna split it down the middle and scoop out your yolk. Mine's still a little jammy. Fresh eggs are always harder to work with and get them just right, but that's okay. Okay, and then I'm just gonna, again, keep it just very basic. I'm gonna do just a little bit of mustard, mayonnaise, salt, and pepper. If you had something fancy and you wanted to pipe it in, make it even prettier, you could do that. But I'm just gonna scoop it in just like that. All right, now these are gonna go in the fridge. Actually, I'm gonna just put a little bit of pepper on top. All right, then these go in the fridge until the rest of dinner is done. All right, next we're gonna make our lemonade. So I'm just gonna take that Kool-Aid packet. And as far as our lemon goes, this is a great trick. If ever you want to trick people into thinking you made lemonade from scratch, homemade lemonade, and you don't have a bunch of lemons, just slice this and put it in for 15 to 20 minutes inside the Kool-Aid mix, and it does taste just like if you made it yourself. So I'm going to wash and slice this, but I am going to leave 4 little slices to garnish our glasses with, and the rest I will put in here. So that ended up being about 4 slices that I can just put on in here, make it so you guys can see. And then we're gonna add a cup of sugar. Now we are going with the brown sugar because that's what we have, and it will just give it an extra little flavor. But white sugar, if you have that at home, that's what I would use. But this still will taste good too. It's just not gonna be, you know, as clear. Try and get this out a little better. All right. Then the other thing I'm gonna do is just add a little splash of that pineapple juice. We're saving the rest because that's gonna make our glaze then for our ham. And I'm just gonna add some of the water, stir this up, and then I will fill it up the rest of the way with water. You can see it comes out kind of brown. That's all right. It's still gonna taste wonderful. It just looks like that because of the brown sugar, so it looks more like a tea than lemonade, or like one of those half tea, half lemonades kind of things. All right, I'm just gonna stir this again, and then I'm gonna let this go on and sit in the fridge. I'm gonna let this sit in the fridge till we're ready. All right, next we're gonna go in with our glaze. So I'm gonna add the pineapple juice, brown sugar. Now if you had cloves and nutmeg and allspice and all that good stuff, you could definitely use it, and that would be great. But again, keeping it just super simple, I'm doing the brown sugar and cinnamon. And I'm just gonna stir this up. And I'm actually going to add a little bit of salt. That just helps kind of bring out the sweetness. And now I'm going to cook this on the burner and let it boil until it cooks down and becomes more of a glaze. So get that over there. While that's going, we're going to get our hams out. So I'm just going to take our 2 hams. Kind of set them in. They can overlap a little. Maybe it'd be better to do it this way. Angle. There we go. Then we're gonna do our pineapple. Do that last little bit of juice back here. Oh, there's a little tiny drop of pineapple, but that's okay. Then I'm going to take our cherries, and I'm going to put our cherries in it as well. Like that. If I had some cloves, whole cloves, you could stick some whole cloves on it. That'd be good too. And then we're just gonna wait for our glaze to come to a boil and become a good glaze, and we will just drizzle that over the top. And we're gonna reserve a little bit though to drizzle over the top when we serve it as well. Okay, so now you can see this is bubbling. And we don't want it to boil over, so we're gonna kind of lift it up, turn the heat down. You wanna watch it, you don't want it to burn, you don't want it to bubble over. Always use just a bigger pan if you want. Smell that good cinnamon. Okay, the next thing you also want to do is you're about halfway done with your dump cake. So what I like to do is take it and add a little more of the margarine or butter wherever it's still a little bit dry. And then I'll put it back in the oven. Alright, then I'm going to put this back in the oven. And also, real quick, I want to go on and give my glazed carrots a little stir here. And we can use some of this ham glaze to drizzle over the carrots as well. These go back in the oven. Here, a quick stir of our baked beans. And those also go back in the oven. All right, now you can see our glaze is becoming nice and glazy. It started to burn a little bit on the bottom too, so I definitely want to turn that off. And then I am just going to drizzle some of our glaze on top of this ham. All right, I'm gonna pop the ham. You can see it all glazed. I'm gonna put this in the oven as well. And then we still have enough glaze to do a drizzle over the top of that and the drizzle over top of the carrots. So just let that sit aside. So for our bread, I'm gonna use, you know, we definitely wouldn't use a whole loaf. So this is great for the next day if you want, and you got some leftovers. Just throw it on and make some ham sandwich with this bread. Or you could also buy some peanut butter, and you got peanut butter sandwiches if you want. Or with your 2 eggs and your cinnamon, whip up a little bit of like a French toast. Just use water instead of milk and mix it up, and you've got your butter. And you could do that and sprinkle a little brown sugar on top. That would be really good too. So there's lots of options you can do with the rest of this bread and use up some of the leftover ingredients that you have. So all I'm gonna do is put my bread right here. Again, as much as anybody wants, because there's plenty. Then I'm just gonna top it with a little bit of this margarine, and I'm gonna bake it. If you had some garlic powder, garlic salt, you could add that and make a garlic bread. Whatever you want. Okay, then once I start pulling everything out of the oven, this will be ready to go, and I'll just bake this in the oven and get it ready. Get it crisped up a little bit. So the last thing to prepare is just our green beans and mushrooms. Now, if you don't like green beans and mushrooms, then you could do peas and carrots or just green beans, whatever you want. I'm just gonna drain the mushrooms. And I'm not doing anything fancy with these. If you have some garlic salt, that would always be good in it. Just gonna drain the green beans. Add some margarine, salt, and pepper. And then when we're ready, we'll heat that up as well. So the bread and the green beans, that's just ready to go. This is gonna have to be reheated just because, see, it turns really thick. So we just gotta reheat that so that we can drizzle it. Okay, so our pineapple and ham is done. That just needed to heat for just a little bit. Our baked beans are also done. They've cooked down nicely. I'm just heating this up back here, the glaze, just really fast just to get it thin. And then I'm going to put this in the oven to finish up while the cake and the the cake and the carrots are finishing up. In this back burner, I'm also going to go on and just turn on my green beans and mushrooms. All right, this looks good. So now this will, again, it will harden up. I just want to drizzle it over the top. So that looks a little thicker right there. You could also drizzle, if you have extra, over top of your baked beans. Just gonna check our carrots, fork tenders. That's beautiful. Just for room on my table, I'm going to move the carrots over to this plate over here. If you had some parsley, you could put that on here. That'd be very pretty too. Just sprinkle some parsley on top. That would be delicious and pretty. All right, and then before this gets too thick, I'm gonna just drizzle some of this glaze over top of the carrots as well. Kind of push them on here. Okay, so next our dump cake is done, and this looks beautiful. And then when you cut into it, see, it's like it's kind of like a cobbler. So I'm gonna go on and put this in our little dessert dishes. And of course, there is plenty of dessert for people to come back and get more if they want more dessert. There is the dump cake. Okay, and then for the cups, I wanted to share with you what I'm going to do to make it just kind of fancy. Is I'm going to cut one slit down all 4 pieces of this. And then this has a lot of the juice on it, this lemon juice. I'm just dipping my rim in it. And then I've got some brown sugar over here on a plate. And then I've got like a sugared glass. And I'm just going to put my lemon here on the glass as well, and then fill it up with the lemonade. Okay, so I just thought I'd show you. So here would be dinner number 1 for 4 people. And what I did with the peeps is I just made it special. So I just decorated the table with it. And then we got some peach blossoms here because we had to trim our peach tree. Or if you have some flowers out in your yard, grab some flowers if you got tulips or anything like that coming up. And then just some candles. And you can see there is our candied carrots, the dessert for everybody, our lemonade, everybody's glass rimmed with some sugar, the baked beans, the ham, the green beans and mushrooms, deviled eggs, and our dinner rolls. So now I'll show you guys what it looks like all plated up, and yeah, then we'll give it a taste test for you. All right, so this is what one person's plate looks like. You got dessert, you got a drink, you got a couple pieces of bread. There's always more. You got the carrots, the green beans, the eggs, the ham. Everybody gets a half of a ham and one of the pineapple slices. So I think that is plenty, big enough for a Easter dinner. All right, Charles is gonna give your honest opinion. I do have a light over here shining on him so you guys can see, because it is dark. It's a very dreary day here today.
Does it give me really weird eyeball looks if I look toward the light?
I don't think so.
Okay.
All right, he's gonna try everything for you, and let me just kind of move this. We're doing it sit down style because it's a fancy Easter dinner.
Anything in specific you want me to start with?
No, you just go for it. And I did take a little taste of everything so I can tell you my honest opinion as well. And I will tell you my honest opinion on all of it is I'm very pleased and very happy to serve this to my family for an Easter dinner.
I like it when you cook the carrots and they're a little bit crunchy. So they're like soft on the outside but crunchy on the inside. And they've got a really good, I take it it's a brown sugar glaze of some sort. Yeah.
And they're not they're soft. They're not hard.
No, they're soft, but
they're not overcooked.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't like them when they're entirely mushy.
No, they're not pure mush.
They're, I guess, can you say a carrot's al dente? I don't know.
And more al dente, yes.
I don't know.
All right. He is not a mushroom lover, so he will pick around the mushrooms, but he will try everything else for you.
You know, I'm pretty sure had you not said anything, they wouldn't have noticed.
I'm just being real. I love mushrooms, so I thought, it was good. It tastes just like canned green beans with some butter and mushrooms. Yeah. I didn't do anything fancy with that.
Now these are the
baked beans.
The baked beans that you made starting with not a pork and bean kind.
Right, with just a can of navy beans. Now they'd be better with some ketchup in it and smoked paprika and stuff like that, but as a very basic, I thought they turned out really good.
I was gonna say, if you look at them, they're not dark like a baked bean.
No, because I didn't have molasses and all of that to add to it.
But the flavor,
just like a baked bean.
Really good.
I thought so too. I thought they were very good. All right, he's not a deviled egg fan, but these are so basic, they're more like an egg salad. They're so basic, I think he'll be fine with it and like it.
Well, it's probably going to taste a little bit like baked bean too.
Yeah, because you mix it with baked beans. I don't think he'd mind deviled eggs this way. No, it tastes like eggs, so.
No, but if I had my choice, I'd take the bread and just squish your deviled eggs in between.
And make an egg salad sandwich.
And it'd be an egg salad sandwich.
It is. Now, normally, at least in my family, deviled eggs have relish and all kind of stuff in it. But this, again, is just a very basic, simple recipes.
I might need...
Here's the knife. You do.
Thank you.
It's not super tender. They're already fully cooked, so I just needed to heat it up and get the glaze on there good. And then got to get your pineapple and your canned cherries. See what you think of the canned cherries, the fruit salad cherry.
Well, I'm going to eat the cherry separate then.
Instead of the typical maraschino cherry. I think it's good.
Every bit as good as if you'd have made a...
Spiral lamb. I think so too. I really would not be at all sad to serve this to people. And I would not feel like I was on a tight budget at all.
And honestly, if you didn't tell me those cherries came out of a can, I wouldn't have known.
Yeah, you really don't.
You really don't.
I don't think that they're bad at all.
And then what, you made some...
Yeah, that's just basic. No garlic. 'Cause all we have is butter, so it's just butter. Normally, yes, I would have garlic on it. But what I'm trying to do as basic as possible. If somebody, like for Ash to make for her and Carlo. And just run to the store and get that couple things kind of meal. I think he'd be very happy with this. And she would too. All right, try your dump cake and your lemonade. Because the lemonade...
Since it's just toast, I probably will take my deviled...
Oh, there you go. Make yourself an egg sandwich.
You can do an egg sandwich. Eat your heart out, Erica. Anyway.
And then the lemonade is also how I used to make it when I was making fancy Kool-Aid. But I used the brown sugar versus white sugar. What do you think? Can't tell.
It was brown sugar. No, taste.
It really does work. And honestly, you guys, I put that splash of pineapple juice in it. You can't even taste it. So I wouldn't even mess with that. No. But... or pour more in, but I wanted to use the pineapple juice for many things, so.
Open a lemonade stand with that.
Nobody know. I know. Now see what you think of the dump cake. Usually I make this again with pie filling, but this was just fruit salad. Oh, I thought it was very good. Yeah.
It's like a burst of flavor going on in your mouth.
It is. I thought it was very good.
Very good. I'll take a second bite just to be sure.
And I did the funfetti because I thought that was festive. And kind of went with the whole Easter thing.
Well, it does because you get all your different colored Easter eggs and everything.
You do. And then the peeps are over there. Now, Charles doesn't do the peeps. They're more for decoration. But Theo and Luke love peeps, so they'll chow on them. gonna be
I
like,
don't mind
yay.
a peep. It's just
No, nobody else really
like eating a
eats
giant
them.
marshmallow.
Yeah.
You know?
Or we could make peep s'mores. Could do that with some chocolate chips and graham crackers.
Mm-hmm.
All kind of magical things you can do.
So do I get to eat all of this now?
You do. This is your lunch. Ta-da.
Here's the way I look at this. If you were to just put this plate down, let's take how you have all the food out of the mix, right?
Take all the fancy out.
Just give me the plate of food. I would not know that you tried to make this on a budget sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I would just think like, oh great, I got a good dinner sitting here.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't know if it, going into it, you hadn't already told me.
You wouldn't think anything about having that for an Easter dinner.
No.
Yeah, me neither.
Not at all.
Me neither. Seriously, and we are being very serious. You would not at all miss it. A spiral ham that costs, $20, $30 instead of, a $4-ish ham steaks. You would not know that this dinner costs $17 and some change. Of course, unless again you have to get the brown sugar in that and then the hair over 20. But you would not even notice that costs that. Very good. I'm very happy with it. All right, meal number 2. All right, here are the ingredients needed for our second choice. This is chicken. Now they gave me a big pack of chicken they substituted out, so I ordered one with 6 thighs, and that's all I'm gonna do is use 6 of them. And that was $5.52. They did still just charge me $5.52, but they gave me a much bigger package. Then I have frozen asparagus for $2.97. I have some cornbread stuffing here for 97 cents. A little pack of Reese eggs for $1. Au gratin potatoes for $1.26. 2 cans of biscuits for $1.94. A pack of fruit punch Kool-Aid for 36 cents. Then I have 1 orange for 98 cents. Margarine for $1.38. Lemon for 58 cents. And a can of extra cherry fruit cocktail mix for $1.48. Now that total comes to $17.20. However, I am going to use brown sugar and cinnamon. If you don't have brown sugar, then you need to add $2.34 to this, which would give you $19.64. And if you don't have cinnamon, you would need to also add $1.24 to that, which would give you $20.88. So this is an option if you don't like ham, your family doesn't like ham. This is also an option with very little, that if you are staying in a hotel room or something like that, and you don't have a pantry with a lot of stuff at all. This would be what you would want to get. Okay, so Easter meal plan number 2 is for those of you that don't like to spend time in the kitchen when it's super fast and easy, or another great one if you are traveling or on spring break or something like that. This also can be made really quick. Instead of spending an hour in the kitchen, you're able to whip this one up pretty quick within 30-45 minutes tops. And so let's go on and get this one started. Okay, so the first thing to get in will be our chicken. So I've got the oven set to 350 because I'm going to be cooking a lot of different things here. So I'm just going to do some salt and some pepper. And then we're going to keep this chicken very simple because we're just using what we got. So I'm going to not even put oil or anything on it. If you have some oil and want to put a little oil on, you can. But I'm going to take our orange and our lemon. And I'm going to put 1 slice of each. And we're just going to make this pretty citrus chicken. And then with the remaining lemons and oranges, we want to keep those set aside because we're going to use those for our fruit punch. So that's it. I'm going to put this in the oven. If you want to squeeze some of the lemon on it, so I guess I can go on and do that real quick. I've got this 1 piece of lemon. I squeeze a little bit of extra lemon on here. And a little extra orange. If you have rosemary, thyme, any of that kind of stuff and you want to add it, then just go on and add it. Alright, I'm going to put this in the oven. The next thing we're going to do is our gratin potatoes because they take a long time to cook. So, we're going to add our potatoes and our seasoning mix. And then, okay, to this we are going to do butter and water instead of milk because we didn't buy any milk. Because if you're out of town or something, or you want to keep it cheap, you don't have to use milk with that. And since we didn't need milk for anything else, I wasn't going to spend the money on milk. Okay, so here I am just going to cut up some butter. And I think I'm going to move my oven to 400. This I'm adding a little extra butter or margarine just because I'm not using the milk. So this will help just keep a little bit more fat in it. Next, I'm going to add 2.5 cups of boiling water. And I'm just going to give this a stir. Alright, pop this in the oven. That's the two things that take the longest to cook. We're going to use our 2 cans of biscuits. I'm also going to melt a 1/2 stick of our margarine. We'll start off with that. To the bowl, I'm going to add our brown sugar. And our cinnamon. Quick little stir here. I'll put this light on for you guys. It's better. If you have regular sugar, you could use regular sugar for this. But I'm going to take our biscuits and I'm just going to tear them in half and drop them in here. Okay, and we're going to just toss it. Again, if you had regular sugar and cinnamon, you would just use white sugar and cinnamon. But we're just using the brown sugar. And then I'm going to pop it in here. If you haven't guessed yet, we're going to make some monkey bread for dessert. My kids love monkey bread. And these are such small biscuits that I can just easily tear them in half. I'm a very messy cook. I'm trying not to be too messy. Again, this is just a super fast meal, but will still be pretty and special. It's also a great option for those that don't like ham, because you could do the same thing but use the ham steaks. could always do that as well. All right, now our butter is melted. I'm going to add that to this brown sugar mixture. I think we're going to need a little more butter, actually. And I'm going to add a little bit more brown sugar. And cinnamon. You can also, at this point, if you want, add a little pinch of salt. Salt just always helps bring the sweetness out. That's looking good. Alright. And then this is just getting poured over the monkey bread. The biscuits. All right, now this is ready to go into the oven. We also have our frozen asparagus here. Into that, gonna add a little bit of our margarine. Salt. Pepper. And then a little squeeze of some of our lemon before we put it in our drink. Here's one of our other lemon slices too. All right, now this is ready for the oven. If you had some onion powder, garlic powder, something like that, you could definitely add that too, but I'm trying to keep it really to what we bought. Now we're gonna make our fruit punch. So I've got the fruit punch Kool-Aid here, tropical punch. I'm gonna add that. Then we have our fruit cocktail here. I'm gonna open that and I'm gonna strain it into here to just add some extra fruity flavor. This is in a light syrup. And then we're gonna just have a fruit cup on the side with this fruit. I'm also going to add a cup of our brown sugar. I didn't quite get a cup in. That should be good. And I'm going to add our fruit slices. And then I'm going to add some water. I'm just going to give this a stir. I'm going to let this sit now in the fridge, which is why I wanted to go on and make it now, so that the oranges and the lemon can kind of release what juice is left in them that we didn't squeeze out, and get this nice and flavored too. Then we're going to just cook the stuffing as on the box. And it says that you need, let's see, 1.5 cups of water and 1/4 a cup of butter. So we'll do our margarine. It's a little over 1/4. That's about right. Bring that to a boil. Okay, this is the last thing we're cooking. So the whole dinner came together in under 10 minutes of me in the kitchen. So it is a very fast. Now things have to cook for about a half hour, but it is a very, very fast, throw it together, easy, especially if you're on vacation or something and you don't want to be in the kitchen, spend a lot of time, or you really truly just don't have a lot of time to cook. This really is a great way to do it, and it will be delicious. All right, so then here is dinner number 2. So we have our fruit punch over here, and then I put some of the candy there, because remember we got the Reese eggs, and then I just put a little bit on each plate, just to give it that little touch. There's a fruit cup at each plate. And then to make the drink just a little bit fancier, you could have done the sugar on the rim again, but I just did a little bit of the fruit salad on a toothpick and put it on each plate. Then we have the asparagus, the stuffing, the chicken. I wish it was a little bit more brown, but I still think it's gonna taste delicious. Monkey bread and the au gratin potatoes. All right, I'm gonna put that on a plate and let you see how it looks, and then we'll get a taste test. All right, so here is what it looks like then, a serving for 1. As you can see, there is still plenty for everybody to have this size serving, plus a little bit. So it is a very good size serving. All right, I have my taste tester for you guys. So.
Anything first?
No, you don't need to mess with the stuffing. It's just box stuffing.
Okay, but I'm going to eat it because I do like box stuffing.
I know, but I'm just saying as far as the taste test. How are the potatoes?
Ah, very good.
So I made them with water instead of milk and just a little extra butter. I don't think you can tell at all.
No, I don't think so. Looks good.
Asparagus. Now I will tell you guys, we like fresh asparagus. We love fresh asparagus. I make it all the time. The frozen, it's all right. It's just soggier than what we're used to because it's frozen.
Tastes the same, just soggier.
But it's not bad.
No, not at all.
All right, chicken.
Ooh, chicken's piping hot. Very tender, very juicy. Good flavor.
He's gonna do the stuffing, and he loves box stuffing. He prefers that over homemade stuffing. I know, it's what you grew up on. All right, next, the monkey bread.
Very good.
Mm-hmm. All right, fruit punch, and you're done. What do you think about my little doodad decoration?
Well, I think it's very cute. I don't think it's very functional to drink from the glass.
Well, no, you just eat the fruit. It's part of your fruit cocktail. It's just for fun.
Refreshing.
All right, there you have it, folks.
I'll give it a 9.
Yay. All right, that's gonna wrap it up for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you found this helpful and you try some of these recipes out. You can still make delicious food on a very tight budget. And even if you don't have anything and you're in a hotel room, you can still make a delicious meal. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye everybody, have a great day or night wherever you are.